What is up, Taurus? Welcome to your general timeless reading. My name is Jordyn. I'm a master Reiki practitioner and a tarot reader. If you want a personal reading or Reiki session, book it down below through my website in the description box. Also, I'm giving away free 15-minute readings on my Patreon channel. That's for all brand new and upgrading tier 2 and 3 patrons, so go ahead, check that out. I have 20% off all my services, by the way, now through the end of December for the holidays, so go ahead, take advantage of that, and let's get into it. These are general, so take what resonates, leave the rest, and they're timeless. So whenever you see it is when it's most meant for you. Okay? Let me lower the volume on this just a wee bit. I had a Reiki session before this, so it was a little loud. And let's get into it. Let's get into the goodies. The goodies. Taurus. Let's use, I was reaching for, I can't even think of the Radiant Wise Tarot, but I heard Grand Lux Tarot, so we'll go ahead and use Grand Lux. Taurus, you feel really, it feels like you're just finally getting into this place of like the exhale, like peace, like, okay, things are getting stable, like things are really starting to feel grounded again, like you're feeling back at home in your own energy. I feel like you've been embodying a lot of like air energy, like a lot of head energy, a lot of like overthinking, which makes sense because you're about to be the new North Node in January. We've been talking about this the last few readings. Our current North Node is Gemini. So if you've been feeling a lot of high anxiety or just analysis paralysis, like overthinking, overanalyzing things, I feel like you're learning how to come back to self, to really exhale and be present again. It's teaching you, I actually just keep hearing forgiveness too. So I feel like you're going to be reconnecting with people, or people are going to be reaching out to you, okay? Because they're becoming more attracted to you because they're feeling the approachable energy, right? The peaceful energy, like, okay, it's time that we can reconcile, that we can talk about these things that were difficult to talk about before, because energy is just easier to work with right now, right? Yeah, I just heard communicate. Okay. There's going to be some very heartfelt, vulnerable conversations, but I feel like you're going to be very understanding, I have the space to listen now. It feels like in the past there wasn't that. Yeah, the Five of Swords, this is the past energy. I feel like this is also a very defensive energy. It feels, Five of Swords is typically the energy of conflict. This feels very defensive for some reason. Two of Wands in reverse, yeah, this was the previous path, right? This is where we were previously. This is what was creating this hesitation, the stagnancy. Nine of Swords in reverse, there's the release, the exhale, right? No longer holding on to it. Nine of Swords is the upright, is the card of stress, anxiety. It's the fears, the limiting beliefs. In reverse, it's like, I can let go of this. 9 minus the 5 gives you the Four of Swords, the healing, right? It's also the step away, the meditation, the rest, the sleep, the isolation, taking a step away from whatever this conflict was so you could really separate yourself from it and reflect on it, but also just take the time you needed so energetically you weren't consumed by it. The Four of Swords was in reverse, meaning that was more so a step away than really like meditation, because the Four of Swords upright is rest, rejuvenation, and meditation. And there's the reconciliation, the Three of Cups, right? Okay. So there they are coming back in. Very nice. I like this. I like this a lot. Really nice. Really, really nice. And there's the Tower, so there's the change, and then the King of Wands. Okay. The King of Wands I actually think is the other person's energy. I don't believe this is your energy. It's a very bold energy. There's something about it that does still feel a little combative. I think that they're anticipating the old conflicting energy from you still, even though they know that the energy is still approachable right now, which is why they're coming in for this reconciliation. There is still that fear that when we have this conversation, when we have this Tower moment of this reconciliation, I do have to be bold. I do have to be confident, because there's a fear that they're going to be fully seen. It's not that you're attacking them. It's that when we have deep, vulnerable conversations, that comes with us needing to take accountability for the parts of that dynamic, the role I played and the role that you played, right? So it feels like they're ready to take accountability but they don't want to be told what they want, what they have to take accountability for. They know what they have to take accountability for. And that's why I said in the beginning, it feels like you're ready to listen. You have space to listen. They need you just to listen right now, right? Nine of Wands in reverse. This is the energy, ow, I just hit my hand on the table. And the Sun in reverse, and the Eight of Swords in reverse. Okay, this is the energy we're releasing, right? This analysis paralysis, this oppression energy, this energy of I don't want to do this anymore, like I'm over you, like giving up. That was all the illusion, the distortion, right? High Priestess. It was a very stuck, stagnant energy because it was working from wounds. It was working from fear, trauma, right? The trauma body. So we're getting out of that, putting your nervous system, right, back into homeostasis, equilibrium. Because a lot of spirituality does come back to the physical body, the mental, the emotional body. It is all one. And so when you take control of your personal health, when you take your focus off of the world around you and you put it back on your own little world for a little bit, that's not a selfish thing, okay? It's a need to find the balance though, right? Don't use it as an excuse to isolate yourself. Do it so you can heal these situations within self and with other people. But when you are out of alignment, when you are sitting in so much stress, so much anxiety, and you don't take that time to nurture yourself, you get in this very hyper-vigilant state of overwhelm, stress, and that puts you out of your authentic self and into the false self, and you will be on autopilot through the ego. You don't want that. You want to be in your authentic self, your true self, okay? And that's what you guys are shifting back into here, which is helping this reconciliation come. Because you took a step away from the conflict, from the ego. Okay. Let's do Santa Muerte. I really like this deck. The only downfall about this deck is that the numbers on the side of it, like when you have 9 and 6, it's hard to tell which one is 9 and 6 because it's not a traditional Rider-Waite, and the numbers are not like upright, they're sideways. So just bear with me if I get a 9 or a 6 because I'm gonna have to look at it for a minute and be like, which one is that? Like, for example, like this is a 6 of Wands, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, it's the 9. It's a prime example, okay? I have not played with it a lot for that exact reason right there. Okay. I just gotta get used to it. But it's a gorgeous deck, it really is. Okay, let's look at the 9 of Wands over here. This is the forgiveness energy. It's like not, this giving up is actually the power struggle. We're giving up on the power struggle, trying so hard to stay away from one another of I'm not going to reach out, right? Okay. The Emperor. There's the divine masculine energy. I really like this energy because this is an energy of somebody who's choosing stability, choosing commitment. This is Aries Taurus energy for me as a reader. I really like this. It's the Father in tarot. It's someone who is willing to provide and protect and do what's of the highest good for the people they most care about, for their family, for their kingdom, right? For some reason I want to say like it's a very royal energy. Don't allow that to feed the ego. It's in the sense of like don't allow that to like put anybody on a pedestal, because this is just an energy. It's in regards to your state of consciousness. It's a higher frequency. It's realizing that regardless of what court card you are, right? We are all one. We all have this ability to embody Emperor energy. It's just divine masculine energy. It's the epitome of masculine energy because it's fully integrated. It's really nice. And then you have the Lovers. Really, really nice. This person's realizing the significance of this relationship to them, realizing that the arguments that they're having are not significant enough to allow this relationship to dwindle away, right? These are things that we can work through if we choose to work through a higher frequency. If we choose stability, vulnerability, communication, and security, right? Transparency. over this conflict, right? If we choose to allow the power struggles to diminish and just be our authentic, vulnerable selves with one another. Really nice. I like that. Let's look at the Five of Swords. Okay, so this is the past energy. I was about to say, why do I not like this? It feels really different. It's the old cycle. Okay. Yeah, Page of Pentacles in reverse, which is my self-reflector card. So this is them reflecting, them or you or both of you reflecting on what this conflict was. This was repeated over and over and over. It was something you two were struggling to step away from. Okay, so if you were fighting for weeks on end, days on end, you'd have highs, lows, highs, lows. You were perpetuating your trauma back and forth, mirroring it between each other. And you weren't able to see that till you stepped away. Yeah, Seven of Swords, your trauma. Self-sabotaging behavior, deceptive behavior, okay? Seven of Swords. The guy crawling out of the the coffin, the things that should be dead and buried, right? Just get rid of it. And the step away needed to be taken so you could realize that. Between the Five of Swords and the Seven of Swords is the Two of Swords upright, because both of them are upright. So the 7 minus the 5, since the 7's upright, gives you a Two of Swords upright, okay? Because it's the larger number. For those of you who are learning tarot, I explain those things just so you know how I read as a reader. And so with that Two of Swords upright, that's what you're not seeing. The Two of Swords is someone with a closed heart space. So you're not working from your heart space, your authentic self. You're working from the ego. And then you have the blindfold on, a traditional rider weight. You're not seeing and you're not feeling, right? Okay. Let's look at the Two of Wands. Temperance. Yeah. So then comes in the energy of, okay, we now realize that this old path is not what we want. We need to heal from this. So when you take that step away, this is what we need to find balance. This is what we want to reconcile, right? Temperance is the card of reconciliation, but it's also, for me as a reader, the connection with the higher source energy. It's realizing that you're being pushed in a new direction. Angels, ancestors, guides, whatever label you'd like to use, is calling you to have a shift within self, to see the situation in a new perspective, right? Kind of like a hangman energy, but through the consciousness and the heart space. It's to find balance. Let's look at the Nine of Swords, what's being released here, because this is releasing the fears, anxieties. Seven of Cups, which is distortion, illusion. The Seven of Cups rules confusion. It's daydreaming, fantastical energy. It's also, to me as a reader, a very Neptune energy, which is very higher consciousness energy, but it also is kind of like the smoke screen. It's not, things are not always what they seem. It can be very deceptive. So you're realizing a lot of what was going on in your emotional space in regards to this connection was very deceptive. It was rooted in a lot of that fear, a lot of that anxiety, that Nine of Swords energy. So then we get to this Three of Cups. Okay. Why is the Three of Cups here for Taurus? The Moon. I love this Moon card because it shows an individual looking into their reflection, right? They're looking into the water, they see themselves, and it's almost like you're seeing your own darkness, right? Because the Moon, it rules distortion, it rules illusion, it rules the dark side of you. It also rules your loyalty to things, but also your desire for freedom. It's duality, right? The sun and the moon. It's the dark essence of an individual, but also the need to accept all of your darkness. And this is going to be the lesson in unconditional love, right? By coming back together, reconciling, and seeing the ugliest parts of one another, and yet still coming back together and forgiving that, it's the lesson of unconditional love and forgiveness, right? Which is why it's such a big Tower moment. I've been having a lot of readings like this for a lot of the collective because we've had some really, really big shifts, but also with our nodes switching out of air and fire into earth and water, we're seeking a lot of stability. And in order for those of us who are attracting a Ten of Pentacles and a Ten of Cups, to have a Ten of Cups, you're gonna need to learn the lesson of unconditional love and forgiveness. And unconditional love means seeing the dualities of another individual and yourself without judgment at all, and accepting it And that means seeing all the ugliness within yourself and all the greatness within yourself. And understanding that those are just labels. None of it is actually ugly. And none of it is actually great. It is simply you. And you are perfect just as you are. And so is the person that you're dealing with. And it's just having that utter acceptance for that. Okay? Let's look at the Tower. That's the Tower is basically what I just described. Because I literally heard jump the gun. Yeah, 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups typically is the walking away from what no longer emotionally serves you. This feels like an emotional integration of like realizing deep within self of I have been rejecting the parts of myself, because the 8 always leads to the 10, right? So this is what's stopping you from getting to the 10 of Cups. And in this particular 8 of Cups, it's one individual. You're not walking away from anything. It's the Queen of Cups in this particular deck, right? And it shows this queen literally crying with her hand on her own face. And it's just this mourning of, how could I have rejected these parts of myself? And it's showing you how connections, it's not that this person's showing you unconditional love. They're showing you how to give yourself unconditional love. And in turn, you're giving it not only to yourself, but this other individual as well. It doesn't have to be romantic. This could be a family member. This could be a friend. This could be a pet. Okay? It could be a boss. It's just someone who is mirroring to you the parts of yourself you were not able to see on your own. Tell me more about the Tower. Justice in reverse. Yeah. Okay. Justice in reverse. Yes, justice is about balance, but justice is also about contracts that are not honored. Justice is about the things that we reject, or the things that we are not loyal to, right? Or the things we don't treat fairly or right. And in this case, that might have been yourself. And it's that realization of, I've been rejecting myself, and in turn, I've been rejecting people in my life. Maybe not literally, but in certain ways, right? Like being overly defensive or overly independent or not trustworthy when people have given you no reason not to trust them, or this person has not given you a reason not to trust them, right? Or has been trying really, really hard to give you reasons to trust them or to lean on them, right? Or that fear of failure or fear of rejection or abandonment. Let's look at this King of Wands. So then we have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse and the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so this King of Wands, the person you're dealing with, they're helping you work through, and they're also working through releasing the fear of abandonment, the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, and the fear of failure, right? So if this is a business partner, it's like that fear of not being successful in work or stability, or even partnerships if it's romantic. It's just getting over this scarcity mindset, these limiting beliefs. And with the Hermit and the 3 of Swords, it's taking that time, right? And then the Star in reverse, it means that it's divine time. And this might be the second or third chance you've had to really address these wounds. And the universe is like, okay, you're finally accepting it with the Star in reverse. Star in reverse to me is second chances. It's multiple chances, right? It's like, come on, we're screaming at you now. You need to do this healing, especially with these node switching. It's just for your benefit. With the Hermit and the 3 of Swords, if you feel the need to not necessarily push this person away, but take quiet time for self, it's just so you can really work through this pain or these realizations you're having. And that's not a reflection of your care for this person, and it's not a reflection of the relationship. It's more so because they're surfacing the things that you were not able to see on your own. And that's good, because that means that you're integrating it and you're allowing it to leave your energetic body. Okay? So just be patient with yourself, because it's to benefit you. Bottom of the deck is the 6 of Swords. I know it's a 6 because it's a boat and it's in water, so that's good. It's in reverse. This is going to take some time before you move forward. I know me personally, when I went through this cycle, I'm going to be honest, it took me 9 months. It took me 9 months, and it put me in a 9-month depression. And if I could give you any advice, I'd highly recommend sticking to your spiritual practice, because I allowed myself to just not do anything. And I wish I had someone like myself to tell me what was going on, because I didn't know what was going on. This is awesome. Underneath the Six of Swords, you have the Four of Cups in reverse, which means that you're overcoming the thought of rejection. And then you have the Ace of Cups followed by the Two of Cups, which means that you're opening up your heart space to real love and true intimacy and vulnerability, not only with yourself, but with another person. And then you have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So it's going to slowly move you into stability. It's just going to take you some time, because it's going to be a process. You're rethinking how you look at partnership, relationships, how you communicate and just lean on people, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'd highly, highly recommend getting into a very strict routine with yourself. Self-care is going to be very important at this time, because this is going to be a breakdown of literally your psyche. It's going to be bringing up a lot of previous limiting beliefs, and it's going to make you really rethink yourself, and you're going to see things about yourself that make you probably think you're like a really bad person, especially if you're really critical of yourself. Okay. And you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible partner and all these things. And you're not. Remember, it's duality. You're an incredible person. You're seeing things about yourself that give you the opportunity to become the person that you most want to be. And that's an incredible thing, because think about how many people walk through this life and choose not to do this work. And you actively now have the opportunity to see it with such fresh eyes and make those changes for yourself. You're not doing it for a parent or a friend or a partner. You're doing it for you. And that's an amazing thing. Okay, so I wish you the best. If you want a personal reading or Reiki session, go ahead, book it down below. I love you, and check out Patreon and like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.